Hello, I'm Bernard Hickey from interest.co.nz and welcome to 90 at 9, brought to you in association with Bank of New Zealand. This is your morning briefing where you get everything you need to know in 90 seconds at 9 o'clock. Starting now with news, the oil price has risen around $2 a barrel overnight. This is after Libyan airstrikes by a coalition of US, French and British air forces. Oil fields in Libya are likely to be closed now for some time, and they produce around 2% of global supply. That's going to push up petrol prices here in New Zealand, which are already near the peaks they saw in July 2008, around $2.15 a litre. Meanwhile, the World Bank has estimated that Japan's disaster, the quake and tsunami, will take about 0.5% off its GDP, which doesn't sound that much. However, the cost of the earthquake in terms of destruction of capital is around $250 billion. That's about the equivalent of 2.5% to 4% of GDP. Remember, there's a difference between GDP being production and capital stock. The Kobe earthquake, for example, cost around $100 billion. So this earthquake is about 2.5 times more expensive than the Kobe one. Meanwhile, the New Zealand dollar, it rose slightly to 73.4 US cents overnight. That's because some of the nuclear fears at the Fukushima plant are starting to ease. Risk appetites returned on global markets. The Dow rose 1.3% and is back over 12,000 again. Meanwhile, back in New Zealand, Auckland Airport has abandoned its bid to take over more than a third of Queenstown Airport. There was strong local opposition. Auckland Airport will stay with 25%. And finally, Fisher & Paykel Appliances has done a deal to sell supply components and some of its intellectual property to Hire, the Chinese firm that bailed it out a couple of years ago. I'm Bernard Hickey. That was 90 at 9, brought to you in association with Bank of New Zealand.